Wow, a game where na Obia and I mean for the better part of almost a month, it means that Ruben Amorim as a Joseph Guardiola 2 times in 1 month. What a performance by Manchester United. Any team, I mean, of course, any players to Ruben Amorim. You see, it wasn't just a total display of football from Manchester United and Ruben Amorim boys no, but a real reason until Ruben Amorim boys no the results over there. And I'll tell you about it. I Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. Obviously, so Manchester United fans are here the first time you are coming here. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. No turn on notification. It's your best in terms of tactical analysis. I say on Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. You come on over here on Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. So first of all, when you look at Manchester City throughout this week, no more we are against a team against Juventus in the Champions League, losing by 2-0. And I remember that I had mentioned that one of the things that were going to be key in the pre-match analysis to this game was the seeming lack of physicality in the City midfield, and then the fact that when Manchester United are compact at the back, not so much with the long balls now, they may hurt Manchester City. So, and of course, psychologically, only are down. It was the first game of the Manchester derby for coach your friend Ruben Amorim at Manchester United. So obviously, how was the game going to pan out? How were Manchester United going to play? How was the lineup going to be like? In fact, lineup nearby, most of us were shocked, given how Manchester United were going to line up. The first two things, and he said two players, a friend of Alejandro Garnacho and a friend of Marcus Rashford, were all out of the game for team up your friend of Manchester United. And Omobisa coach your friend of Ruben Amorim in the pre-match press conference. Asema Ruben Amorim make catch on me a simple say Oshe attitude, Oshe how players do their stuff. And then he feels that social Manchester United team now, they are not doing enough stuff, as in they are not putting enough work to make sure that they do well and then get success over them. One of the things that was very, very clear, and he said the lack of balance for Pep Guardiola team when he wanted to go inside the 4-2-3-1 transitions, it was always going to be a big deal for him, especially defending in transitions. Kyle Walker was always caught in there. Now, so Eric Ten Hag game plan require. Eric Ten Hag went into this game plan to be as compact as ever. One of the good things that happened to Eric Ten Hag was the fact that a branch friend Harry Maguire was back into the team. A leader, technical leader at the back. One player in Kofobe chastising when he doesn't get good times Manchester United. But really, when you do the proper eye test and even use data and then put it together and analyze a branch friend Harry Maguire, you understand that he's a top player. And his performance today did show today. Harry Maguire top in terms of technical leadership at the back, in terms of control at the back, the orderliness in the organization. He was spot on for team and your friend in Manchester United. I think that he was a very, very good in there. And one of the things was clear. Manchester United, they usually your friend the low fullbacks now, making sure that they will not put in too many in terms of wing backs now. And then they're using them to cut inside when they wanted to overload Manchester City centrally. It was an important one. Consistently, it was exploiting Ruben Amorim pressing structure for Manchester. I mean, that's what Manchester City did. In trying to exploit a Ruben Amorim pressing structure, their fullbacks were very low. I mean, Manchester City, just so that they would draw Ruben Amorim players no deeper, then they can play in behind them. So it was the bane of the game. In fact, in the first half, such the starting lineup, Manchester United for any game, like I did mention, it was in post. Abrantia, your friend Andre Onana, and that polling for team, my friend Manchester United. I mean, staying in post for them, of course, at the back. Abrantia, your friend Harry Maguire was back into the fray as a player. As part of the starting lineup for team, my friend Manchester United. There was Abrantia, your friend Nusser Nazrari, also was part of the back four over there. Matthias Delete, Emik Mani at the back, of course, back three over there. Then there was Matthias Leandro Martinez over there. So Nazari played more like a wing back over there. Then had the other wing back being Amad Diallo. Then in the middle of the pack was Bruno Fernandes, Mason Mount, and of course Abrantia, your friend Manuel Ugarte to do the off the ball job for them. Then as a number 10, obviously there Bruno Fernandes, and then up top there was Rasmus Højlund also leading the lines of team and friend Manchester United. So United went into the game with a more regular three back. No, they went into the game to try and hold the game as long as possible and then try and play in between the lines over them. It was very, very important for Manchester United. So they stayed in the game as long as they could in terms of what they wanted to do on the ball, off the ball, how they wanted to dictate the pace of the game. Because they knew that when it comes to Manchester City, City will have loads of the ball. City will dictate the pace of the game. City ever control, ball on the ball. They will impose themselves better than they do. But then they Manchester United know that they need to stay in the game as long as possible, which was the number one thing at Manchester United. Now, Osha game now, every time City were trying to play out from the back, United's press was more passive, not particularly overcommitting numbers and players into the attack. United for the city of allowing Manchester City to have the ball, to try and let them to dominate the ball so they can head them on the counter attack. Now, one of the things was clear. Every time a United in your ball from build up with Biano, they tried to vary the play. There were times where Andre Onana will go long to the players. No? There were also certain times where Abrantia, my friend Harry Maguire will start the build up from the back because Harry Maguire, Leandro Martinez, and Abrantia friend Nusa Masari, these are very, very good centre backs on the ball who can dictate the pace of the game. In that regard, and that's exactly what Manchester United were planning on. In fact, the tension of the game was clear by the first 20 minutes when Rasmus Højlund, Abrantia friend Kyle Walker, and make it a run inside, left the space in behind, and that's one of the things that Ruben Amorim decided to do in a bit to try and hit Manchester City. The plan was to go in the channels, hit, attack the spaces Abrantia friend Kyle Walker on the cheek, so that you run into the channels and hit Manchester City, and it worked. In fact, up until the point where Rasmus Højlund ran his channels, no? Then comes in Abrantia, your friend of Kyle Walker, who of course ran into Abrantia, your friend of Rasmus Højlund, and then there's a foul. Of course, there's a head bump, and of course we all said Abrantia, your friend of Kyle Walker, made the most out of it. But essentially, United went into the game trying to cede possession to Manchester City, and then coming into it as and when they had to come into it. Trying to dictate the pace of the game, which was very, very important. Manchester United knew this was going to be a game that would take a few more than just the performances of taking the game to team and friend Manchester City. They knew that they had to grow into it. They need to force City to make certain mistakes. So in the first half, that's exactly what happened. Then in the second half, Ruben Amorim begins to make tweaks. They begin to set pressing traps. Of course, build up traps for team and friend Manchester City. And almost every time, the City build up from the back, what they do is that they wait, they police them, they sniff around them, waiting for some openings. And every time when they got that openings, they got it several times. They kept on making mistakes. In fact, in the first half, that goal that came from Manchester friend Josko Vardiol came from a set piece over them. Another season where Manchester United had conceded a goal from set piece over them. And so the metric of the game now crossing up. It is clear for both teams. Manchester United had more touches in the opponent box, 22, against Manchester City's 18. Both teams had 10 shots and then 3 on target each. Man City 1 goal with an XG of 0.91. Of course, 10 shot, 3 targets. Manchester United an XG of 1.99. And it was clear that, especially in the second half, when United began to grow into the game, when United began to really impose themselves in matches, now almost certain trust for team and friend Manchester City, they were getting openings. Now, because now United for airball with a compact low 3-back system at the back into them, it was hard for them to create opportunities against my friend Manchester United. Almost every time, not Man City in your ball now, they could not control it. In the box, United were more aggressive. They were preventing City from playing through them centrally. Some want to call out where they were able to defend crosses and stuff like that in their box, especially from Harry Maguire. And I think that he was spot on the day for them. Also, the off-the-ball job of Manuel Ugarte seems to have been very, very good for your friend Manchester United. So City did not create too many chances in the game. It wasn't particularly a game where you say City were blistering. Even in the second half, when they made changes, brought on Mateo Kovacic, brought on a branch friend Mateo Nunez, team bringing on, of course, in another part, Jack Grealish to come and control the game. It didn't really work out. Of course, City had the most of possession, but like I did say, United's plan wasn't to win possession. It was to win the game and to have a specific game planner. to try and control the game. Obviously, there is a contribution to United X, which is going to be the penalty at Manchester United in. But then again, you will still give Manchester United a lot of credit for how good they were. In fact, in the first half, there was a possible penalty for Manchester United. Our referee now for Man United for no, and a lot of the Manchester United fans were really, really complaining. So I didn't know one mom said penalty no one because they deserved to have that penalty. There was a good job that Manchester United did, and then they should have gotten that penalty. Until the second half when United really pushed for it. United really wanted to show Biase they came into the game to try and come and win, which is very important one. Anyone over prioritizing individual players behind a coach or lacking a lot of issues, and that's exactly what Abrante friend of Ruben Amorim decided not to do today. If you look at that goal that came out, it was a deep one, ball manipulation from team and friend in Manchester City. And of course, like I did mention, it was the inside run of our branch friend Amad Diallo. Inside run, coming out from outside, but then making the run in between the outside centre back and then, of course, the fullback on the other side. Now, first ball doesn't go in, then the second one gets better one in between the part of our branch friend Amad Diallo. Excellent assist for our branch friend Leandro Martinez with the left foot. And that's exactly how Manchester United manipulated the present time when we rush Rasmus Hojlund field. It meant that the outlet had been Abrantia, your friend Joshua Zexi. So if Zexi was there, he is not particularly the kind of center forward or have center backs or affect you or force you to make mistakes and stuff like that. His own is to leg around. Once there is an opportunity, he pounces and then gets the job done against you. And that's exactly what he did. City were back trying to manage the game and see they can get the win. And as a drawback, no matter some man until say Abrantia friend Leandro Martinez received the ball with no pressure, absolutely no pressure from team and friend Manchester City. Then waited for the opening, turned around, then found the inverted run. And like I said, that's an excellent inverted run from Abrantia, your friend Amad Diallo, by making the goal. The game 2-1. Before that, now Amad Diallo every new penalty for team and friend Manchester United. Again, another mistake from Abrantia friend Mateo Kovacic. He pounced on it, waited for the opening, clumsy tackle on from Abrantia, your friend Matthias Nunez, and of course after that, Manchester United for winning. I think that in the first half, that tackle of Abrantia friend Luis Diaz on Rasmus Hojlund was a true penalty, and I think that should have gone the way of Manchester United. But then again, even after aside the fact that they didn't get that penalty, Manchester United went on, got a job done, and in a master class for Abrantia, your friend Ruben Amorim, when you had the all-important win against team, your friend Manchester. For team and friend Manchester United, and that was a very, very good one from Ruben Amorim. In fact, time ago, he just came to his bench and then assistants, and then a subtle fist pump down there by his knee, not letting anybody know that he was fist pumping. But then that was a huge fist pump for him, and he knew that was an important 3 points for Ono as a player, for Ono as a coach, and of course, giving the fortunes of team and friend Manchester United was so needed. And a team my friend of Manchester United, and yes, I win, and you give them a lot of credit for team my friend Manchester United and the kind of football that they've played as it stands now. It was an excellent game. Manchester United derby wins in the league. Manchester United winning 26 derbies. Manchester City winning just 20 derbies over them. And like everybody's saying, it was well deserved. And Amad Diallo was excellent in that regard. And I think that he's one of the players that since Abrantia, your friend of Ruben Amorim, he has gotten the better of him. Almost everybody, when Amad Diallo when Ruben Amorim, one of the players, when he had the best out of a new coach, has been Abrantia friend Amad Diallo. And today, of course, like I did mention, Abrantia friend Harry Maguire was excellent from get-go. He was solid in everything that Manchester United were doing on the day, and you'd have to give him credit for Abrantia, your friend Abrantia friend Harry Maguire. He was top in everything that he was doing, and I think that Manchester United really do deserve the successes that they had in this game. A game where it was going to be difficult for them. Everybody knew it's a very tough game for them. They came in and got a job. And funny thing is that right after the game, Amad Diallo went to Pep Guardiola. Senior, Chiamikakra. Then I made the man of the match, Chiamikakra. In 1 month, Ruben Amorim at the Sporting Man City 4-1. So I give Amorim first goal for team my friend of Manchester United. Of course, City first goal, and Ruben Amorim Sporting Babette share. Then the second one, Manchester United winning by 2-1. Also, team my friend of Manchester City scored the first goal, and he deserved to get a job done over there. A lot of credit to Ruben Amorim and then Imran, and such a very, very good job done by them. And Ruben Abrante, Amad Diallo, or didn't say Manchester United, by he's a true Manchester United. For Pep Guardiola, it's a huge disappointment for no any Imran, and it keeps on getting bad for them. Like I did mention, if you look at how Pep Guardiola teams no FA, it's a very, very tough one for them. He needs to make sure he starts to recover in terms of how he's playing on the foot of play and how he's getting the best out of him. Like I did mention, one of the things that was clear was the fact that anytime any fullbacks will go up Biano consistently, Manchester United wing backs will get the better of them. And transition wise, Manchester City's players were struggling to get a job done. And it's one of the things that's really, really pushed Manchester United to the point where Manchester City to the point where they are struggling over there. So Josep Guardiola has lost again. Not a good record at all for him. 2-1 for team and friend of Manchester City. Excellent display from Amad Diallo. Of course, Bruno Fernandes had some chance, but he was able to score the most important one. An excellent composure from Abrantia, the friend of Amad Diallo. For Manchester City, it is not a good one at all. For Manchester City, it's not a good sign at all. They've lost in a game where they wanted to, they really wanted to go in and then win, but definitely not a good time for team my friend of Manchester City. And then they had to come back and then try and get the result over there for them. Now, the City handles now most of the times only through and through City. I'm having City conversations now. You will see that none of them are happy. In fact, at Manchester City news over there, when you go, almost say the player ratings now honor, but such a sad one for Josep Guardiola and then Imran, over there. It's not a good one for them. It's really, really not a good one for team and friend of Manchester City. And then City knows that they need to get back to winning ways. Pep Guardiola say he needs to find a way and then get back to winning ways as it stands now. Because really, the team no struggle. Not just this match. This week, almost absolutely against team and friend in Juventus. A couple of home games away. A couple of home games ago, almost absolutely to team your friend final also in the Champions League, and then there they are losing again. Not a good one for Josep Guardiola. And then the Brantier, or in the picture where Amad Diallo goes to Josep Guardiola and then tells him that, hey, say hello to me, no Ontias, Exactly. I think that's the picture that's trending all across in there, and they're playing very, very well. Of course, I'm really busy on Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel and subscribe and turn on notification. Bye bye.